Hey everyone, for this video clip, we'll be taking a different look at animation in Adobe Express. So the first thing we want to do is come to the plus button today. We'll be creating a custom size banner image, and let's make this 1000 wide by 400 pixels tall. So it's going to be a banner that we can use in our communications. So we get this image, and now the next thing we want to do is add some media as a background. So I'll come to photos. What I'm looking for is a yellow gradient. So gradients are images that have gradation in color. They go from light to dark, dark to light. And you can see with this one, let me minimize that a little bit, that it's kind of not the right size. So I'll grab one of these, pull this out, and pull this side out so that it fits the whole frame right there. You can see we've got our space covered. Now there's an interesting feature of this. Because that gradient was not a rectangle, I can move this up or down. You can see how it changes. I get more of that light to dark right here because the whole image is actually still there, even though I'm only looking at part of it. So I kind of like this circular little gradient right there. So let's stop with that. We'll add some text next to let everyone know that we have a field trip coming up on Wednesday. And then we'll resize this text to be big and large readable, make it so that it stands out on the background, because we want this to communicate the information that we're sharing in our ThrillShare Rooms app. So now we've got that ready. Let's take a look at a different font perhaps. We want one that stands out, really pops on that background. Maybe something like this, Alpharn 2. That's a nice font for these kind of headers. And move that so it fits the background right here, maybe just a shade smaller. Okay, now the idea of animation this time is that we're going to be using animation with the text, not the background. Done a lot of background stuff, but this time let's try one that's a little bit different. I'm going to make that nice blue. I'm going to add a stroke to it or an outline to get it to pop on the background just a little bit. And then, as usual, we want to add an effect right here, and we'll give it that drop shadow that makes it stand out just a little bit. I think I'll make it just a shade smaller so we have room for the animation. Now, when I select an item in Adobe Express, I get this animation menu up here. And when I click that, it gives me the options for an in. How should it start? What should it do over and over in the loop? And then how should it come out at the end? So for this one, I'm going to choose an in, and I think I'll take this typewriter idea that it types across the screen. I can also do a loop. So for this one, let's take a look at what Bob does. Bob just keeps it sort of there in the center and keeps it kind of floating around, and there's tons of others where you can have this kind of wiggle effect and so on. When you select one of these, you can also select it one more time, click it twice, and you'll get a slider where you can make it more intense and faster, and get it to be essentially unreadable. Or we can take that down a little bit, make it nice and slow and gentle, and drag the intensity down. And so it just sort of does its little thing here in the middle, eye-catching and yet not obtrusive. I do have my timeline controls down here, or I can take this and make it longer than 5 seconds. So I'm going to stretch it out to 10, just so it stays on the screen with that motion. So we'll get it to be out there. Okay, that's probably good. And then you can see that the other one adjusted at the same amount of time. If I shorten this one, the video will play for a minute and then the words will disappear. So I could add something after that on another layer. But for right now, we'll just go to here and then let you play with this as you experiment on your own. So next job, let's take a look at it, make sure it's doing what we want. We could add more features flying across and so on, but I think for now that's probably enough. So I'll take this image now, we'll name it. Just so we can remember what that is, because it's going to get downloaded to one of our folders and we won't be able to find it if we don't. Now I could do MP4 because ThrillShare does accept video clips, but let's go to GIF for right now. And we'll take this down to low quality because we need it to be less than 10 megabytes. And sometimes that can be tricky to do when you have images that can be quite large, GIF images, because they have what is essentially a flipping cards effect. It's just multiple images over and over again. So this one should work. And now we'll jump out to Rooms and we'll find our home room right here. And we want to create an announcement. We'll just create something there. Now, new to Thrillshare is the option to add different size headers. You can see they shrink in size based on the number. I think H4 is fine for this. We can also center the text should we choose to, and so on. And that's probably enough for you to see what that does, but we do want to add that attachment. So we'll add attachments, click on that. We want to go find our attachment right here. And we'll grab that image from Downloads folder and toss it in right here. And all we have to do now is click Post Now, and what we'll see is that we have this eye-catching little reminder. Even though we've got the text, it does put it below the text we add, but nonetheless you can see we have all kinds of options when we start adding images to our Thrillshare communications. So hopefully that was quick and meaningful for you, and meanwhile, have a great day.